Mm. Mm. Just mm. Oh. This. Mm. See? Should you? This can't say that. Just please. It's um, this person. Sometimes good person. Teach me. Good people. Sure. I see. Nice. So, this Whew.